Well, I'm going to state the obvious. Hats off to UCCS and what Coach Culver and his staff has done with that program. If they're not a regional team, then I don't know what is, because they competed, and their whole body of work this year, they got to be considered in the regional. They played us as tough as anybody we played. It was a good physical basketball game. There was plays being made on both sides. Their best players stepped up. I thought our guys grinding it, and it was just a game of ebbs and flows, and we had the last run or two in the game, and that's really what it came down to. But hats off to them. Our group's been doing it all year long in terms of playing those tight games and competing, and it just comes down to players making plays at the end of the day. And I thought our guys did a good job of holding their poise and making some plays at the end of the game to win it.
Questions?
Talk about UCCS staying in this game. Rebounds, obviously, on their side. They had a bunch of second chance points. They battled real hard on the board.
Well, we had a hard time tonight finishing possessions. We would get them to miss a shot, and they did a great job of pressing the glass and creating second opportunities. We balanced it out on the turnover deal, though. I think we had 7 and they had 15, if I'm not mistaken. But it was a discrepancy in the turnovers, so that balanced it out a little bit. We took great care of the basketball, but, you can ask these guys. It looked like it was hard to get a rebound. I mean, they did a great job. They had desperation. And, if we finish a couple of those possessions, who knows? But, that's what makes it a great game.
Coach, do you get double figures in steals very often?
Well, we average almost 9 a game, so we're used to getting turnovers. That's kind of what we do. I looked at the stat sheet. I was surprised we had 13. But even in the beginning of the game, we got a lot of traps out of our press or in the half court. They took it to bad spots. And, our guys did a great job of closing traps and, turning them over. But that's what we do, try and manufacture stuff off our defense. But 13 is a good number tonight, obviously.
20 points off of their turnovers also. That was, I think, a key factor maybe.
That's pretty much what the game comes down to. Because they were getting to the free throw line, and I don't know the final stats on the free throws. It came down to turnovers and points off turnovers, but, that's how we make our living. We score off our defense, and I think that was probably the stat of the game.
You think about national championship?
No, it's too early. It's too early. All I think about is being blessed to have one more game here, and hosting the regional. We just, at this point, you got to look at the small picture and think about the next game, and just stay focused. Our whole theme for this whole build-up right here, and even for I don't know how many games we've won in a row, that tells you how much I pay attention to it, is we've been able to have the ability to focus just on the next thing, one game. And that's really hard to do when you're on a long win streak and guys get excited and they want to look towards the next thing. And to me, you just got to keep your eyes down and just keep working.
So, you guys got in foul trouble tonight. Obviously, I haven't been really familiar with them the last couple of weeks. We're familiar with it more in the beginning of the season. Does it do better for you guys when you guys get more familiar with having to go a little bit deeper on your bench than you would like to?
Well, we got a pretty experienced bench, believe it or not. Doesn't mean that those guys at the end play a lot of minutes on the bench, but, like Sammy's been in big games at the end of games, for example. Sammy Porter comes off the bench and makes critical free throws. Raul, I can go down the list. The guys, think about Jordan Hunter. In the Mines game, he was in the game at the clutch time and made free throws. So, the way our season has played out, a lot of guys that are on our bench have been in pressurized situations, and that's what they train for every day, to do that, and get that job done. And then the foul trouble, we tried to deal with it by going a little bit more zone, and switching our defenses up a little bit. BJ got 2 early in the game, and, he's aggressive, so sometimes you're going to get fouls. That's a byproduct of playing aggressive defense.
Coach, with a 3-point lead at the break, what was your message to your team at halftime?
I didn't think we offensively had played as good as we were capable of playing. So, in other words, it was a positive message. We haven't played up to our potential in some areas, and give them credit, too. I'm not taking anything away from Springs. But in a sense, we felt pretty good going into the half, being up 3, because if you look at the game, we left a lot of points around the rim. We were on the rim, and we just couldn't finish those shots. So we just made a couple of adjustments. The big thing was transition. They do a great job of getting out in transition when they get defensive rebounds, in particular Derrick White. So we just went back to the drawing board and simplified it, but we felt pretty good going into the half, up 3.
Coach, you mentioned how you expect to see UCCS in the regional here again next week, and then obviously going a week after that. Derrick White, 33 points tonight, as you mentioned. Is there something you guys maybe want to do better on next time? Not let him obviously score as much in the next match if you guys face off in the regionals.
Why don't you answer that, BJ? I'm tired of talking, man. You take it.
I mean, Derrick White, he's a great player. I mean, we talked about stopping the first 3/3 of the floor. So, like, when he gets the outlet, we got to be there to clamp him. So that's really what we talked about for the past, 24 hours. But he's a great player. I mean, he's going to get his. So we just got to keep him off the free throw line. I think he was 18 for 18. So that's one thing we had to do, keep him off the free throw line. Don't bail him out at the end when he's driving to the hole.
Coach, can you talk about Nick K? I mean, he's been through a couple of these already. Only a junior, but he's a seasoned veteran. And he had a great tournament for you.
Yeah, he just plays with the poise of an experience. One of the best things about Nick is his personality. Sometimes it drives me crazy because, I kick him in the butt to get a rise. I can't get a rise out of him, but that's what makes him good in those kind of games. He's very calm. And, our team realized that we had something going during that stretch to close the game out. And, he just delivered, man. I mean, I'm amazed at just his poise and being able to put the basketball in the basket when we needed it, and then to go up to the free throw line. Nick's always kind of the one because of his personality. He's hitting a little bit. You got BJ, you got Mitch, but Nick is just kind of that steady guy in our group, and I mean, he's as good a player as there is at our level, in my opinion, and he showed his worth tonight.
Coach, the three players that sit with you, first team RMACers, and then Jamal McClarkin, third team RMAC, you yourself, RMAC Coach of the Year. And then last night, Joe McDermott, Under Armour AD of the Year. Talk about what she's done for your guys' program, and did you guys excel at another RMAC champ?
Oh, I can't understate what Joan has meant to this program across the board, not just men's basketball, to this university. She's a cornerstone. She's always doing something to make our program better. And a lot of times she's in the backdraft. She doesn't get a lot of credit. But I always give Joan credit because obviously she had faith to entrust me with this thing right here. But, I mean, you look at our athletic program across the board at every sport, she makes sure that everybody's taken care of, and she's the mother hen, and she makes this engine go. And we all appreciate what she does, and it was well deserved that she got athletic director. I didn't know. I found out after the game, but I immediately texted her and congratulated her because she needs that kind of recognition because that's how important she is. She runs one of the best athletic programs in the country, bar none.
Maybe you two could, was that a war out there tonight, or was that pretty typical as far as the physical aspects of it?
I think it was pretty physical. They were coming over the top with 3 or 4 guys. Not a lot of teams. Some teams are trying to get back because, we try and push and transition, whereas I don't think they were really being safe. They were just crashing and hoping they got the offensive rebound. So it was physical, but that's what we got to expect when we play some regional games as well. The refs are going to let it go, and the deeper you go, the more physical it's going to get.
Pretty much just agree with what Mitch said. They were crashing hard, and it was just a physical game out there. Both teams were competing and using their bodies everywhere. So I'm pretty sure we just battled all game, and luckily we got the result.
Charlotte State wins your guys' wins their conference tournament tonight. Wins your guys' conference tournament tonight to host for regionals. How important do you guys think it is to host just like you guys did last year?
It's an advantage because the other teams have to travel. But at the same time, if you're not ready to go, then you're going to get beat. So, you got to prepare and you got to be confident and play your game and just do the best we can.
Nick, talk about being a junior. You've been through this a couple times, and there's a great crowd out there for us and for UCCS. And you're just out there, you're the quiet guy doing what you do, and it's just incredible to watch.
I think the crowd tonight was amazing. UCCS brought a lot of people, and credit goes to Metro State as well. We had a lot of fans out there cheering all game, so it was just a fun game to be a part of. Both schools were going at it on the floor and off the floor, so it was just a great environment, and happy we got the result.
What would you say, Mitch, that was as good an environment as you've seen here at Metro?
Yeah, I think so. I think the Mines game was pretty big as well. Mines always seem to bring fans to us, and when we go to Mines. But yeah, I'd say that was one of the better crowds. Certainly student-wise, they were extremely active.
Anything else? Great, thank you guys.
Thank you.